Hindsighters. Welcome to Keeping It Real with Miss T, where we give you the real tea with a twist. Please remember to visit our website at www.hindsightmediaradio.com. Subscribe, share, donate, and advertise, where there's always something good to talk about. I am your host, Miss Ty, and joining me tonight, I have Clevette and Lisa. As always, you, the listeners. Welcome, ladies.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Awesome. So tonight, we will discuss and get right into it. Freedom of speech versus diarrhea of the mouth and marketing gone wrong. So let's get it. Let's go. So, ladies, the apologies are continuing. Last week, as you guys are aware, we had the conversation about, the Gayle King and all the situation, the backlash she was getting, right? So then, Here we go, with Gayle accepting an apology from entertainer Snoop about her questioning that she asked during the interview with WNBA star Lisa Leslie, and talking about, or the question she posed about the late NBA player Kobe. And of course, as we know, the legal case that expired over 16 plus years ago, that was like an upset to so many people that followed Kobe and the things that he was doing as a legend. Many people felt that way about him. So Gayle's questioning made people very upset. One of those people being Snoop Dogg, who was very, very close to Kobe, right?
Yeah.
So people thought that Snoop's reply was a threat and was a vicious rant, prompting several prominent figures, including the former Obama official Susan Rice and MSNBC anchor Mika Brzezinski, to come to Gayle's defense.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. In Snoop Dogg's Instagram apology, I guess he stated he had a conversation with his mother, and his mother said that, you have to get in front of this. And he was stating that two wrongs don't make it right.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you do something wrong, you got to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing on to say that how he, definitely apologizes how he publicly tore Gayle King down in the derogatory manner due to his emotions and anger due to her questioning. So Snoop stated that in having a conversation with his mom, she made him realize that he needed to correct this wrong with Gayle. And Gayle basically replied stating that it was never to add pain. Her question was never to add pain. So many people get that. However, it was also a thing where, as a journalist, you can still have situational awareness. Right. And you can still determine or make a judgment on not saying certain things or posing certain questions so you don't have to come back with an apology. Well, we're talking about apologies here, ladies, and I'm going to let you guys jump in a few minutes after I get to this next thing. But in our speaking of apologies, as I stated earlier, that it seems like everybody's mouth is running like diarrhea. They're stating whatever they feel like they state in the moment of their emotions, and then they're having to apologize for what it is they said. So that leads us into the next poop of apology. Full poop of apology. Wendy Williams. She has to apologize, or had to apologize, to the LGBTQ community after telling men to stop wearing skirts. It was started during the Valentine's Day. I guess it was her Valentine's Day show. And she was asking her studio audience if any of them ever had planned on celebrating Galentine's Day. Now, I know I said I'll have you guys speak later, but are you guys familiar with Galentine's Day?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, of course, for the listeners, hindsight listeners who may not be familiar with Galentine's, with a G, not a V, Galentine's Day, it is an unofficial holiday that was created on the NBC show Parks and Recreation, where we as women celebrate other women in our lives. And so that's what that Galentine's Day is. So many of Wendy's audience attendees applauded on that. Hey, when she asks, do you celebrate Galentine's Day? So many people applauded, many women. They're super excited. Yeah, we celebrate it. But the issue came when Wendy noticed men applauding as well. So Wendy put up a verbal stop sign, and she was saying, if you're a man and you're clapping, you're not even part of this. You do not understand the rules of the day. Women going out and getting having a good time with one another, getting savvy, and then going back home and just relaxing. Then she continued on. You think she would have stopped there, but we all know Wendy, absolutely not. That would have, she said, you're not a part. And then it happened. The skies of a poopy mouth opened up like a rainstorm. And I was like, no, I knew she was going to go somewhere. I was like, no, Wendy, no, don't go there.
Don't
no,
do it. Don't do it.
There. I know you're a hot topic. I know you're Miss Messy Boots and you're Miss Messy Shade, but please do not go there, Wendy. But she did. Okay? She said, I don't care if you're a gay and you do not get to participate in the things that we participate in or do the things that we do because you do not get a minstrel or you don't ministrate, whatever she was saying, every 28 days. But you can do a lot of things we do. And then she continued on instead of stopping at some point to say she gets offended by the idea that women go through something men will never go through. Then the poop hits the fan because she tells gay men, we all know the sensitivity of the rainbow. You cannot. It's a sensitive subject. It's the people being people, doing what they choose to do, being who they want to be in their right. Who are we to tell another human being who they can love, what they can and cannot do? As I always say, we all have an opinion. I mean, opinions are like buttholes, but in this case, the butthole stinks. Somebody better go wash it because this is crazy. She has set up here, and now you're telling gay men to stop wearing skirts and heels. So, and then it began with a strong tone of saying, look here now, gay men, you would never be the woman that we are, no matter how gay you are. So here's the crazy part. She kept, if you watched her show, I ended up having to go back and watch it. And I looked at it and she was eyeing one of the men that clapped.
Yep,
and here's the crazy part. He said, I'm not gay. So some of the men that were clapping were not even gay. They were just clapping and applauding, in my opinion. Opinions are like buttholes, right? So in my opinion, they were just basically saying, hey, congratulations, women, you have your own thing. That's it. But she took it as if because he was applauding, automatically assuming, and we know what assume, you make a bum hole of yourself, and she thought the man was gay, but he said he wasn't gay. So if you go back and you play it, listen, he said, I'm not gay. So he's not gay. So she kind of made that assumption due to him clapping and others clapping around that this particular guy was gay. So had her continue on and going on to say, now here we go, these poop of apologies. Now she got to apologize and say, I did not mean to offend my LGBTQ community. One thing I can tell you right now is I never do the show in a place of malice. Really? Really, Wendy? Really? Wendy Williams. Okay. All right. We'll go there. So she gets emotional saying she did not mean to hurt anybody's feelings, and that she was just having a conversation. And truly, her remarks is really, they were denounced as transphobic and homophobic across social media. And we know social media will come in an uproar over many things that you say. When you get to that outlet, you're publicly allowing others to make a statement. So with that being said, many said, hey, we want her show canceled. So ladies, with all of this full poop of apologies, in the words of Wendy Williams, how you doing? How you doing? Give me your spiel on all of these apologies. I mean, the apologies from, Snoop Dogg and Gail, and now here we go with Wendy. Is it that we're getting to the point where freedom of speech is becoming where we can say what we want to say, and then because you're afraid of what, I guess, the youngsters or whomever tags assign, it's messing with your bag or messing with your money. Now is it to the point where you feel like you're going to be canceled on your show, on your job, or your ratings are going to go down, or it's going to stop your money? Now, because of what you said, you're being forced to apologize. Do you think we're getting to a point in life where what we're saying, we're having to apologize? Is it right? When is it necessary? Because of how you doing?
Well, for me, I think, as you stated, if you're in a position where you're in the public eye and the public actually are the people that are funding your careers, then for that reason, a lot of them are. Because it's two places that 9 times out of 10, you're actually saying what you feel. And that's when you're angry and when you're drunk. That's when the truth comes out. That's when what's really on your heart comes out. And when are we going to get to a point where everybody wants an apology? And sorry, LGBT community, but my friends that are part of you, they are people that I know will snap off in a minute. But you're the first ones to want a heartfelt, apology all the time. But you are some of the first people that will snap off at somebody in a minute. So my thing is, you can do it, but you don't want other people to do it. My thing is, I love people how they are, no matter what they are. And sometimes you need to keep your opinion to yourself. The Bible says one thing, that's what I believe. I'm not going to take that back just because you might not be happy with it. And if it's things that you don't want to say, don't say them. Then you won't have to apologize for anything. But it's something sometimes that need to be said. My Bible tells me a man is a man and a woman is a woman. So we can take it from there. That's my opinion. But if you choose to live your life in another manner, I'm not going to love you any less, but you will know from Jump Street of our friendship that I believe what my book said. I do believe that, but my book also tells me in that to love you regardless, just how God loves me regardless.
With both of these women, they're not newbies. They are not, this is not their first rodeo. They are veterans at what they do. For the number of years that they have done it, we term that as a vet. However, for me, it's not just a matter of how many years you have been doing it, but how connected you are in what you do. Because you can be on a job for a long time, you got your name out there, you have your show, whether it be radio or whether it be on TV, but then how connected are you with your job? Now, getting to Wendy Williams, all she had to say is to the men is this: you all not a part of this, and then just left it alone.
That's true.
But her mouth was just running like diarrhea. I'm like, stop. And when I said stop, she just kept going. I said, oh boy, this, you come on. You know this, the same thing with Gayle King. All of this, really, bottom line is that none of this would be necessary to talk about it if they had just watched their mouth. Don't blame it on with Gayle King, like said, well, the editing part. No. It has nothing to do with editing. Baby, you said it. They didn't have to edit what you said because it's a hot topic, so you didn't have to bring it up. The same thing with Wendy Williams. Just stop. So now you get on there and now you apologize. You have this, I'm so sorry and quote unquote, tearing up. And before you even tear up, how about if you thought about what you said? Just give some thought about what you said. Now, I don't know what she was thinking in her head and in her heart, but apparently it came out. Mm-hmm. It came out. So why do you have to, again, apologize for something you said? Like you mentioned earlier, Ty, the men, to me, when looking back at the audience, because I looked at the tape a couple of times, they looked like they were in support of the women. So I'm like, okay, but where are you going with this? Why do you say, well, you're not a part of this? You don't even have to say that, because perhaps the men in the audience were being supportive of their women or women in the audience was saying, yes, y'all need a day. Did she ask any of the men in the audience? No, she just went off. She could have asked a couple of men in the audience, so let me ask you, why are you clapping? And they might have given her the answer, because we're in support of Valentine's Day. But no, she didn't do that. She just took it to another level. I'm like, then when she said when she got home and she looked at the recording, then she thought about it. No, you're live, or live or recording, whichever one she does. The point being is this: why do you have to think about it 2020, looking behind you? Okay, now I know. No, you're a veteran player at this. You should have thought about it before you even came out your mouth, because I've looked at Wendy shows in the past, and she has had to halt her mouth on things where she actually said, "Oh, I'm not going to talk about that any further." And sometimes she'll cross her legs and pick up that the cup, and she'll stop talking, and you see her. You can sense what she's saying through her eyes, but she doesn't say it with her mouth. So why didn't she do it this time? Why didn't she do it this time? So people out there that constantly who say, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm a vet." Same thing again with Gayle King. Not downing any of the women. I am glad that they have a wonderful platform to speak from, but you also have to be mindful of before you open your mouth to say anything. I would rather if they said nothing. An interview with Bill Bellamy. He wasn't an interview. He put it out on the media. He said when he interviewed Michael Jackson, he said Michael Jackson and him were friends. He says, "Do you think I was going to ask him about the alleged accusations they had against him?" He says, "No." He said when he interviewed Prince, he says, "You think I was going to ask him about some things that was allegedly being said?" He said, "No." So even though you may have it in your mind, like you said earlier, Clea, don't say it. However, the way you feel, okay, but you don't have to come out and say all of that. So for her and for Gayle King and for anyone who have that platform, awesome, great, not judging them and not throwing them under the bus or anything like that, but they already have an idea what they're going to say. And if you feel like the show is rolling and getting out of control, guess what? You have the power to stop it. All you got to do is control your mouth. Control your mouth. Control it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in that case, it comes off that people are lying. They're not apologizing. They're lying. It's like
yes.
say this. I mean,
yes.
It's like, are your lies? Are your lies? Are you apologizing? Is it sincere, or like I said earlier, are you doing it just because you're afraid of what may happen to you? Absolutely. The backlash, the money, it's going to hurt your pocketbook. It's going to hurt your ratings. Let's go back to Snoop Dogg, and I want you guys to state what you felt about his apologies, because with Snoop, I don't know if I truly believe that he would have made the apologies outside from what his mother asked him to do. But let's think about it. I don't know if you guys thought about this. Snoop Dogg has a television show with Martha Stewart, and I love that show. I think it's funny. Potlucks with dinner, whatever. Martha and Snoop's potluck, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So their previous network has now merged with CBS. So Gayle King's on CBS, Martha and Snoop's potluck dinner on CBS. So even though CBS has not come out with a lot of comments on this, none at all, basically, I think maybe a few here and there, but they're on the same network. So is it that they're like, okay, we got to get in front of this, or this is my opinion. Could it have been that Martha said, hey, Snoop, I enjoyed doing the show with you, partner. Hey, but buddy, it's going to mess with our show here. We can't do this. Now we know. Now, unfortunately, people are afraid this is keeping it real, right? Now, Clea already done put a twist to it earlier, talking about the LGBTQ community always want apology. So that's going to be another topic for another show, because she's opening up a can of worms. But we're going to let her open up that can of worms, not on this episode. We're going to let her open up that can of worms, because she already put that twist on this show. So she's now forcing my hand, and we're going to have to open up this can of worms, and we have to have this conversation. But next time. So anyway, let's talk about this. And this is going to go on another show too. Race. You have white Martha Stewart, and you have black Snoop Dogg. Okay, we got to keep real here. We know that in our world that things matter, no matter how people want to cover it up, how they don't want to talk about it. We truly know what it is, and we'll hit on that another show. But in reality, I could be wrong. But in this episode, in this situation, it may be, hey Snoop, you got to go out there and apologize, because we have this show out here. You're not touching my Martha money. You're not touching my money. Now, you're not about to do that, brother. So what I need you to do, I need you to go out there. You need to apologize to Gayle King, because you got Susan Rice. You got all these other individuals coming at you now, these prominent people who are in other places. They're telling you, you better get in front of it. You better take that back. So with Snoop Dogg's apology, I don't want to say it, because I'm no one to judge. No one to judge at all. I don't have a heaven or hell to put anyone in if someone's religious or what have you. But the reality of it is, at the end of the day, like I've said before, if you truly mean what you said in that moment, no matter how you're going to get the backlash, if you mean it, stand your ground. If you mean what you said, just say, hey, yeah, in your eyes, I was wrong. In my eyes, at that time, I thought it was right. But now I'm being forced to apologize or apologize, because it may affect my ratings, or it may affect my money. But in reality, I'm not truly apologetic. I'm unapologetic about what it is that I said. If that is truly what you are unapologetic, be unapologetic what you said in your moment of your emotions. We all say things when we're emotional. Like Clee said, people say things, I don't know, I can't relate, because I've never been drunk. I never had an alcoholic beverage in my life. But I can't relate to the drunk side of it, but people are irate, and I have seen people get upset and mad and do belligerent and do things that they don't really want to do when they're drunk. And when they wake up the next morning, oh God, they have no clue what has happened. So let me ask you, like I said, in Snoop Dogg's response, his apology, what do you guys feel? Because he was true, he meant what he said. I truly feel that way. So do you think that if his hand had not been forced to apologize, that he would, or even Gayle, that they would have just let it go?
I don't think that they would have let it go, as far as, no. On television and anywhere else, when you get to be that high of a star, you have to think about a lot of things. It's not just like me and one of my neighbors talking and we have an argument and that's it. You have people that try to comfort you. Gayle was getting death threats. For them, it's a way larger scenario of things that can happen because of their words. They have families that people know of. It gets way out of hand and out of control quickly when you're a public figure. But those same two people in their neighborhoods where they grew up, that would have been said face to face. That would have been said. And once people get to a certain amount of money or a certain amount of degree or a certain amount of prestige, you have to totally change the person that you are to be able to fit in your new society. Because those who on the streets of where they grew up don't know, well, I'll say Snoop, don't know where Gayle grew up. But Snoop, for him, where he grew up, that's what would have came out of his mouth to her if he would have seen her face to face.
And that would have been the end of it.
And that would have been the end of it. That would have been my warning to you to shut it down. You saying too much, close your mouth. Now, so it's other cultures that might not do that, but there are some that do, be it black, white, Asian. I have friends in all of these areas. And some of them, when you push them to a certain limit, they say stuff. They have been trained not to say it, on television in front of people who could be recording you. Now that they have more so than the Black community. You've been trained to keep your mouth closed until you're behind closed doors, either with that person or with somebody who could tell that person what you said. And that maybe that's something that we as Black community need to do. Start training ourselves to shut it down. If that's what you want to say to that person, call him and tell him. That's how we usually do it. We tell you to your face exactly what we want you to know, and then that was it. It was done. Either we're going to handle it right there or we're going to let it go. So I think that's the thing that we have to know. Now, they're in positions where they are in front of a large amount of people. So for what you're doing in your life, for your life's work, yes, you are going to have to shut it down. You're going to have to keep your words to a minimum on a lot of things because your life could depend on it. There are crazy people out here that are their fans that will take this to another level. So that's my thought on it. Because of what they do, they need to keep their words to a minimum on a lot of things and keep your opinion to yourself. If that's what you felt like Gail needed to know, I'm sure you could have called her or you know somebody who has her number to tell her, hey, look, we're not feeling you on this. So you need to shut it down. That was wrong what you did because it was.
Yeah, and not defending Snoop, but a little bit to his defense. He wasn't the only one. There were tons of people, but it's just, I think it's often the viciousness of it,
That's
it came out. That was what it was. So yeah,
definitely.
It was the tone and what it was, and because of what people know, people that know him know the background of life that he comes from. Hearing that, that it could possibly hold a lot of weight.
Holds a lot of weight.
Because of his affiliations with certain things and certain people, it can also hold a lot of weight. So that's what it is. So
exactly, and in harmony with what you were saying, Reverend Al Sharpton was on I think it was called, I always get it mixed up, Morning Joe. I think it's the Morning Joe show. And so they were asking him. Now, one thing I do appreciate what he said. Well, actually, I appreciated all of what he said. Calling her out of her name. He says, I understand that he was upset. But calling her out of her name was putting women down.
Absolutely. So
he said when he was walking on the street, he said one person said, well, thank you for stepping up for Gail. He says, I wasn't, in other words, I wasn't stepping up for her. I wasn't, protecting her. I wasn't, saying anything necessarily for Gail. It's for women. He says for my daughters and for everyone else, because the words that Snoop used brought women down. So if, again, like Clee said, if he had an issue, since he had an issue with what she said, all he had to do was say, my people will contact her people and we need to talk. So now he's talking about he wants to speak with her privately. Let's see. Why didn't you do that earlier?
Right.
Because you're very influential. So that being the case, being influential, you got some people who may not necessarily be playing with the full deck. Keeping it real and following you may be able to control that part of you as so far as reaching out and touch someone physically. But you have some people that will take what he says and then send death threats to her, where he may have not be the one to do that. Somebody who's following him could very much well take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So God forbid, if anything like that occurred, now you got blood on your hands. Instead of going through all that, people, let's take a step back. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to even have your voice to go up. Because I always tell people, if you ever hear my voice go up yelling, I will apologize to you for the yelling, but I will not apologize to you for what I said, because I know what I said and I meant it. So in your anger, you still have to control. It's okay if the voice goes up. It's okay if you're upset with the person. It's okay if you're peeved with them. It doesn't matter, but it's what you're saying at that moment. To put out that talking about can get physically harming your sister. What? No, it's not necessary. No matter what race you are, why would you put it out there?
Right.
Is that you have a wife and you have a daughter? Would you like somebody to say that about your family?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Step back for a second and let's think again. Apologies. Wonderful. Again, are you thinking about your show with Martha now? Somebody say, hey, Snoop, like you said earlier, wait, we got this show going on. You can't be messing with the money here. Come on.
Yeah.
So does someone have to remind you about that? No, be angry. But again, yes, and Ty, like you said earlier, no. Honestly, Snoop wasn't the only one, but he was the only one that I know of currently that called her out of her name.
Mm-hmm.
You had others that were upset. There were others that were upset, but I did not hear anyone call Gail out of her name. Nothing like that. So it's okay to be upset. It's all right.
They did. They just did it behind closed doors at home.
There you go. I mean, publicly. Excuse me. Thank you for that. Enhancing that publicly. What they said behind. There you go. Behind closed doors. Yeah. Totally different. But what they put it out there. Like I said, one, for instance, was Bill Bellamy. I listened and I heard not one curse word. Now, was he upset? Absolutely. But it was all controlled. Everything, it was all controlled. It was controlled. D.L. Hughley did not call Gayle King out of her name. So he was the only one currently that I know of. I'm not saying that there are none who haven't done that publicly, but he was the only one that's highlighted. When you're in the public forum, the public highlight, again, you have to be careful about what you say. And ahead of time, think about what you're going to say ahead of time, because he had the chance to think about it. I don't know if he had written it down before he said it, because again, you have to think about what you say when you put yourself out there. Now your thoughts, like Reverend Al Sharpton said, it was putting women down. It wasn't just putting Gayle King down. It was how you view women. Why would you get on social media and even put that out there? So that's my thought about that. I'm not taking away from his anger. Believe me, I'm not. But it's just the words that was said and the threats. Why would you do that when you have some unstable people out there that can take it to the next level? God forbid, would not want to hear that of her or anyone. So something to really think about when you're up there in stardom.
Absolutely. So, Hindsighters, you're listening to Keeping It Real with Miss T, where we give you the real tea with a twist. We'll be right back after this break.
Does your company look or logo need a facelift? Help is on the way. The Spalding Agency is a brand design firm specializing in art direction, advertising, and marketing communications. They are a proud sponsor of Tea with a Twist. Visit online at spaldingagency.com. Follow at Spalding Agency on Facebook or call 404-487-8632 for all your creative needs. The Spalding Agency.
Hindsighters, welcome back to Keeping It Real with Miss T, where we give you the real tea with a twist. Please remember to visit our website at www.hindsightmediaradio.com, where you can subscribe, share, donate, and advertise and support other podcasters on our Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM network. So again, joining me tonight, I have Lisa and Clevette. And guys, we have had a super fantastic evening this morning. We're going to keep this going. This conversation has been great. I mean, I tell you, these ladies open up some tea for y'all and giving you some twists that you would not believe. If you have missed the first part of the show, I ask you to go ahead and visit that www.hindsightmediaradio.com, and please listen to the archive of the show, because you missed some good conversation, something that may make you tweak, something that may make you upset, or something make you laugh, or make you want to share, have a conversation about it. Feel free to send us an email, or just have a conversation on social media, on our Facebook website at Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM. Please go there. and just give your 2.3, 2.5, point of views on what you think about the show tonight. Whatever backlash we get, we understand that we are giving our opinion as well, but we're big girls, we can take it. And as always, I'm going to tell you, no matter what, however we get it, we're going to keep it real here with Miss T and my platform. Always
right.
It's the real. No matter how you take it, whatever tea you give, whatever tea we give, the twist will always come, and we're going to keep it real. So ladies,
yes.
Thank you again. So tonight, we're going to keep this boat rolling and keep this tea just popping in this kettle, because next thing we want to talk about, this is Black History Month. And so we've had a lot of great, African Americans that's created some great inventions, and that's something we'll touch on by the end of the month here. But right now we're going to talk about when, not necessarily when keeping it real goes wrong, but we're going to talk about when marketing goes wrong. And so hindsighters, you guys may be saying, what are you talking about, Miss T? Well, the Black-owned One United Bank has created an uproar. They have made social media upset, people upset, because they have created this limited edition bank card with Harriet Tubman saluting the Wakanda Forever symbol. Okay, so people are in uproar because of this, and they feel like this bank card that's displaying Harriet Tubman with the Wakanda Forever pose, it's just, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good, it was not in good thought. Basically, whoever did it, what were they thinking? It was like a great idea, but it was poorly executed. Some people feel that, Harriet looks like she's tired, look like she's still running for freedom. You know how people are. People just give their comments, right? So they're just like, she just looks tired in the picture. And they're speaking on how it looks like why? That's the question. Just why? Out of all of the pictures that poses that she has, she wasn't even in the era of Wakanda Forever, I guess. What was that about? But it's more on, the president of One United, Terry Williams. She did appear on the Karen Horton show, which airs on Sirius XM. And she basically said the decision was made because there was a delay. And I'm sure you guys remember, there was a delay on Harriet Tubman being put on the $20 bill. There was delays of conversation about it. They really wanted her on this $20 bill. And Terry Williams just feels that Africans should be on money, and that because we are part of building this country, which we have an understanding, we know that. But she also shared that One United Bank, which is a Black-owned bank, they do have other cards that are out there with other hand gestures. And then the artist who did that, card with Harriet Tubman doing the Wakanda Forever pose, basically said that it was done to kind of paint it as in sign language, and that's the sign language for love in his eyes, and the picture it just represents Black love, and he just wanted to communicate that with his daughter who's with special needs, in other words. So the issue is that people are not upset that it was put on there, but they're just saying that oftentimes we don't really think things through, and that just was not a good decision. Out of all the poses and all these pictures that you have of Harriet Tubman, why did you choose that? It was just poorly executed. It didn't look good. It didn't show strength to them. And then the other thing that some people went deeper with it, they felt that all Black people do not put up the fist to show that it's Black power, or that they don't pump the fist to show strength, or they don't show tears or sweat running down their faces to show struggle. And oftentimes they feel like pictures such as this one that's been put on this Visa debit card with Harriet Tubman doing this Wakanda Forever pose, it's continue to show that that's representing Black people. And people feel that that's not true, because some people find strength in peace, silence, faith, laughter, and joy, not with the hand pose, or not with, always Black people showing their strength or struggle through crying and sweat and tears and hard work. They know that it's there, but that's just not how everybody feels. And oftentimes that's misleading to most people because that's what's portrayed within our media and within our marketing of Black individuals. It always has to be someone pumping the fist or showing that they're crying through the struggle and through the pain and bowing down. So what do you think about that marketing? If you guys looked at that picture, what did you guys think and how did that make you feel?
Looking at that picture, it just first struck me as, what is she doing? I'm basing it on the other pictures that I've seen of Miss Tubman, and this one was like, what is she doing? I do applaud the bank for putting her out there.
Right.
It is about time. This woman has done so much, and I applaud them for doing that. It's just that looking at that, and I know the president is Terry Williams.
Yes.
She said that she basically appreciated everyone's comment. This is what she said, quote, "I respect the comments we received." In other words, we're not changing it. So it doesn't matter how you feel about it, Well, in other words, we're not changing it because it's going to be remain available for the rest of 2020. So for me, and again, this is just my opinion on it, what is she doing with her hands up? If you're looking to do something with Harriet Tubman or any other figure of that nature, to me, put them in a natural pose. If you're going to do that, again, what's your reasoning for doing it like that? Again, as you mentioned earlier, Ty, not all Black people do the fist bump, and then if it's a sign of sign language showing love, okay, again, to me, having her in a natural pose, to me, would be more palatable, because how were they going to set her picture up on a $20 bill? I can pretty much guarantee you it wasn't going to be like we see right now. I could tell you. As a matter of fact, knowing the United States government, I can guarantee you it wasn't going to be like this. So again, honoring her for what she has done and what she has stood for, to have her like that, to me, you don't need to modernize her. She's already modernized. She did her work. To me, that was enough. And again, that's my opinion. Those who were with the bank as customers said that they're no longer going to be with them because they did not agree with the debit card picture of Harriet Tubman. So again, for me, if you're going to do it, put her in a more natural pose. To me, put her in a more natural pose, just like you would do Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, or anybody else. If you're going to do something like that, put them in a natural pose. That's me. That's me.
And I can agree with you on that, to put her into a natural pose. Probably the best thing that they could have done was have several portraits done, or pick out several pictures, and let the customers, their customers, that they would have liked on a card. My thing just with pretty much everything in life is that you're never going to be able to please everybody. There are going to be some younger generation people that's going to get the card. They got it the day that it was put out. Because that is symbols that they understand. Her face doing that particular pose, and it does mean love, in sign language. So the artist, what he had it to mean was something special, and it was something beautiful. But certain people might not like that, so it's going to take away. Well, it won't take away from what he meant it for himself and his family. People who don't, that's what they're going to do. But you know me, I'm the person in the group that says, if you don't like it, don't get it. Period. That's my bottom line.
Yeah,
if you are never going in this life, in my 57 years, I promise you, that is one thing that I have learned, that I will never be able to please everybody. The young people that see that, because for a while, everybody was going around doing the Wakanda for life. Everybody. Older people, younger people.
Not me. Not me.
Well, not me. But I'm saying, For
Not
a
me.
time, you saw that a whole lot. So
Yeah.
it is a lot of people that can identify with that, and it means something positive to them, just like what the artist, brought the picture out for. So that's my take on it. Everybody's not gonna like everything. If you don't like it, don't get it.
Boom.
And you know what? You're right. If you all don't mind me saying this, we're all artists in our own realm. Some are just more pronounced. Like, for instance, in our group, Tish, if she was on this call, I would love to have heard her take on that, because she is an artist full time. I'm not an artist full time. I'm into it, but I'm not an artist on a full time level as she is. And so, again, with this artist portraying Harriet Tubman like this, I know that it was with the best of intentions. As Miss Williams says, she mentioned that, quote, we didn't want to portray her as she normally is, which is in a passive pose. This is what Williams said, unquote. So when the artist presented this image of her, we actually loved it. Particularly today, Black love is an important message. Getting back to what you were saying, Clevette, do a little test trial with your customers, not just with the board.
Right.
Not just with the board, because she said we loved it. Well, who's we?
Exactly.
Who's we? Did you send it out to your customers and say, hey, we're looking to do this in February. We just want to get your feedback on it. Did you reach out to them as well? And again, as you said, if it's something you don't particularly care for, you don't have to get it, because just like on our license plates, they ask us at DMV, would you like this plate, or would you like that plate, or would you like to create your own? A lot of people create their own because they don't like what's being given to them. So we have choices. So if a person does not want that debit card, no, you don't have to accept
They have other options.
Exactly. Many more options. So again,
that's simple.
Like
for me.
Exactly. You have other options, and that's cool. Again, I can guarantee you, if she was on a $20 bill and Obama at the time was president, I can guarantee y'all she was not going to look like that.
Oh, no. And I agree with you there. Also, there was a picture. I have it on my phone. I can't think of the artist. Not taking anything away from the artist that did this picture. That was his love and his meaning and his truth that he was trying to put out. And, I think that is awesome. It just might not have been the right picture to put on this debit card, but this particular artist did a painting almost, it's a river behind her. Like she's just come off of the river and she's walking up to almost like a rock wall, and she's stepping over it and has her hand out like, come on. And that would have been an awesome painting to put on there also. That's like I said, if she would have did a contest, with several different pictures and let them pick it, it might have went off a little bit better, but still.
Or merely just her face was enough.
Just true.
You can leave the rest of the body out, the face and a little bit of her color. That's enough. So, guys, tonight, since we know that we are in Black history, we want to give recognition to Lonnie G. Johnson, from 1949 to present, aerospace engineer. He has many developments. But his major developments is the super soaker and this thermoelectric energy converter. So, we definitely give kudos to Lonnie G. Johnson, who's still here with us on Earth today. And then, ladies, I want to say thank you for joining me this evening.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
It's been our pleasure.
Absolutely. And Hindsighters, thanks for listening to Keeping It Real with Miss T, where we give you the real tea with a twist. If you like what you just heard, please share with others and listen. Visit our website at www.hindsightmediaradio.com, where you can subscribe, donate, and advertise. Check us out on Facebook at Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM. And join us next Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. for more tea with a twist. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.